Welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.
Blaming others quotes to inspire better accountability.
Read these blaming others quotes to understand how important it is to admit your mistakes and wrongdoings. It's normal to be afraid of the consequences and punishments. Even if that is the case, we must never abdicate our responsibilities. We should never blame others for our mistakes, no matter how big or small they are. When we point fingers at others, we neglect our own personal growth and development. Consider this: how would you correct your mistakes if you refuse to be teachable and open to criticism? Read through the following blaming others quotes to learn the importance of being accountable for your actions. Grab a pen and a piece of paper and jot down any lines that truly influenced your thinking. You become a victim when you blame yourself or others for some problem or error. You made your choices to get where you are now in life. Stop blaming others for your misfortune and choose wisely next time. When you keep blaming others for every mistake you make in life, one day you'll look back and realize you're the mistake all along. You can get discouraged many times, but you are not a failure until you begin to blame somebody else and stop trying. Stop blaming other people and circumstances for killing your dreams. The truth is, we tend to talk ourselves out of acting upon our dreams. Everybody is responsible for their own actions. It's easy to point the finger at somebody else, but a real man, a real woman, a real person, knows when it's time to take the blame, and when to take responsibility for their own actions. All too often, we have been pulled away from being honest with ourselves, and drawn into a game of blaming others for bad situations. Just how crazy has our society become with playing the blame game? Everyone must take responsibility for themselves. Blaming your problems on the world will get you nowhere. Some people love being victims because they love being able to blame someone else. Accountability is too much for them. They don't like being responsible for who they have become or where they are in life. It's time to care. It's time to take responsibility. It's time to lead. It's time for a change. It's time to be true to our greatest self. It's time to stop blaming others. People will blame anyone or anything for their misery sooner than take the responsibility to own it and make it better. If you make a bad decision, you need to take responsibility. Keep your head up, admit fault, take the blame, and move on. The worst thing you can do is pass blame onto your team for a poor decision that you made. Too often in life, something happens, and we blame other people for us not being happy or satisfied or fulfilled. So the point is, we all have choices, and we make the choice to accept people or situations or to not accept situations. Don't raise fingers, raise your conscience. Blaming others is excusing yourself. When you blame others, you give up your power to change. It's not how you play the game, it's how you place the blame. Do not blame anybody for your mistakes and failures. Blaming others is nothing more than excusing yourself. Your life is the fruit of your own doing. You have no one to blame but yourself. Human nature is so complicated. Those who have little, want a lot. Those who have a lot, think others have more. Those who lose, blame others for the loss. You only have one go at life, which is thrilling. Only you can make yourself into who you want to be. Don't blame anybody else. You are entitled to free fresh air, and that's it. Do the rest yourself. You are the master of your own ship, pal. There are lots of people who fall into troubled waters, and don't have the guts or the knowledge, or the ability to make it to shore. They have nobody to blame but themselves. You are responsible for your life. You can't keep blaming somebody else for your dysfunction. Life is really about moving on. Making bad decisions is a part of life. Blaming others for your bad decisions is immature. Never blame another person for your personal choices. You are still the one who must live out the consequences of your choices. It's easy to blame others for your situation. It's much more productive to search your own past and find what caused your faults. There is an expiry date on blaming your parents for steering you in the wrong direction. The moment you are old enough to take the wheel, the responsibility lies with you. Sometimes you have to blame yourself, because you knew better. Blaming others will confine you to a life of mediocrity. Stop the blame game. Stop. Stop looking out the window, and look in the mirror. You'll never get ahead by blaming your problems on other people. It's always easy to blame someone else, or outside forces for our actions. Yet we don't have the right to blame other people, or circumstances for our behavior. When you blame and criticize others, you are avoiding some truth about yourself. The man who can smile when things go wrong has thought of someone else he can blame it on. Before you start blaming people for your problems, stop and think about who created them. When we assign blame, we are pointing the finger at who or what is responsible for a fault or for a wrongdoing. We are trying to make others accountable. Blaming does not solve a problem, it usually only makes people defensive. It's always easy to blame others. You can spend your entire life blaming the world, but your success and failures are entirely your own responsibility.